afternoon, welcome to VANIK-IAS. We'll start discussing current affairs of 10 July and first the standing of national anthem. The standing up for national anthem, what Supreme Court has ruled. An executive magistrate in Srinagar has sent 11 men to jail after they were detained for alleging not rising for national anthem at an event in June 25. For Jammu and Kashmir, Lieutenant Governor Manoj Sinha was present. Srinagar police said that 12 persons have been generally bound down for good behavior under Section 107 and 151 of CRPC. So, Section 107 of Criminal Code of Criminal Procedure 1973 allows executive magistrate to ask any person who is likely to commit the breach of peace or disturb the public tranquility or do any wrongful act may probably occasion to breach the peace or disturb public tranquility to show cause why he should not be ordered to executive bond for keeping peace for up to a year. So, whether a person is now the question is whether a person should stand for national anthem or not. Okay. Now, such type of paying respect to national anthem, national flag are mentioned in the fundamental duties, and fundamental duties are not bound by court of law. But the fact is that if you are not interested, you may not join those events. But when you join an event and do not stand, that certainly amounts to disrespect of national flag, and by which the person can be punished under Flag Code of India Rules 2000, right? Section 151 CRPC allows police officer who knows a design to commit a cognizable offence to arrest without orders from a magistrate and without a warrant the person so designing. So, if executive magistrate can order an arrest. In legal terms, to be bound down means to be required to appear before the investigating officer or the court on a given date. The expression is usually used in court orders to indicate that the accused is bound by surety of personal guarantee to appear before the authorities. So, accused is bound on personal guarantee to appear before the authorities if they are not following the due respect to the national flag or national anthem. The Baiju Emmanuel case, the law-bound alleged disrespect to national anthem was laid down with the Supreme Court in 1986 judgment in Baiju Emmanuel and OAS versus State of Kerala and others. Okay. The court granted protection to 3 children belonging to millenarian Christian sect Jehovah's Witness who didn't join the singing of national anthem at their school. The court held that forcing them to sing national anthem violated their fundamental right to religion under Article 25 of the Constitution. The children's siblings named Baiju Emmanuel, Binu and Bindu were students of classes 10, 9 and 5 respectively, were expelled from NSS school run by Hindu organization Nayar Service Society on July 26, 1985. Their parents pleaded unsuccessfully before the Kerala High Court, and Jehovah's Witness permitted worship of only Jehovah, a form of Hebrew name of God, and since anthem was a prayer, children could stand off in respect but could not sing. So, in Baiju Emmanuel case, what Supreme Court has said that they can stand in respect but they cannot sing, as this is national anthem is a one type of prayer, and that staying silent is their fundamental right under Article 25, in which they can profess their religion whatever they wish. In August 1986 judgment, the Supreme Court said that Article 25, freedom of conscience and free profession, practice and propagation of religion, was incorporated in recognition of the principle that the real test of true democracy is the ability of having an insignificant minority to find the identity under the country's constitution. So, Article 25, which that also represents freedom of practice and free profession and practice of propagation of religion. And even if there is a minority, even if there is the true democracy means the ability to recognize the rights of minority. That is what Nehru has said it. Okay. Standing up respectfully when national anthem is sung, as the children had done, but not singing oneself, does not either prevent the singing of national anthem or cause disturbance to an assembly engaged in such singing so as to constitute the offence. Standing respectfully when the national anthem is sung, as the children has done. That's why it is not a, and not singing oneself doesn't either prevent the singing of national anthem or cause disturbance in the assembly. So you may not, you are not allowed to create any disturbance in public spaces where there is assembly or where there is national anthem is sung. Anthem or cause disturbance in assembly engaged in such singing so as to constitute the offence. So only when you disturb others, then that constitutes the offence. Section C of the National Honor Act prescribes jail up to 3 years or a fine for intentionally preventing the singing of national anthem or causing disturbance to any assembly engaged in such singing. Then you can be punished for up to 3 years. The court held that the children expulsion as a result of their conscientiously held religious faith was a violation of their fundamental right of freedom of conscience and freely profess, practice and propagate their religion. So, unless you are disturbing others from singing or saluting the national anthem, you cannot be punished, right? And it is not bound because a particular person or minority has a right to observe their religion. The debate revisited. The Supreme Court revisited the matter in Shyam Naran Chokshi versus of India 2018. While hearing this case, the court had in November 30, 2016 passed interim order that all cinema halls in India shall play national anthem before feature films starts and all present are obliged to stand up to show respect to the national anthem. The court has also ordered that entry and exit doors shall remain closed while national anthem is played, and when the national anthem shall played, it shall be within the national flag. It shall be with the national flag on the screen. However, its final judgment in the case passed November 9, 2018, Airport Court modified 2016 interim order. The court passed on 13th November 2016 is modified to the extent that playing of the national anthem prior to screening of film cinemas is not mandatory but optional or directory. Optional. It's not mandatory. So by 2018 verdict, again it changed its interim order and gave that order that it is not mandatory to play national anthem in court. The court's decision to modify 2016 order came after it was informed by the center that a 12-member interministerial committee has been formed to frame guidelines for the occasions on which national anthem will be played or sung in the theatres. So it is up to the wish of a theatre to sing national anthem or not. And there are other problems also. Many times there are some physical violence also against the minorities who are not interested to stand. High security. The UN adopted marine wide right, so that's why this court verdict has changed and new guidelines has been created by a ministry. So it is not mandatory. And another thing is that it is calculated. It will be calculated as an offence. It will be calculated as an offence when a particular person disturbs others from celebrating national anthem, right? And if a person is standing, then obviously they are paying respect. what is High Sea Treaty? High Seas Treaty. The UN adopted marine biodiversity of areas beyond national jurisdiction, BBNJ or High Seas Treaty. It became third agreement to be approved under UN clause after 1994 and 1995 treaties, which established International Seabed Authority and Fish Stocks Agreement. The idea of protecting marine environment emerged in 2002. By 2008, the need for implementing an agreement was recognized, which led to UNJ resolution of 2015 to form a preparatory committee to create the treaty. The committee recommended that the holding of intergovernmental conferences, and after 5 prolonged IGC negotiations, the treaty was adopted in 2013. So UN has adopted marine biodiversity of areas beyond national jurisdiction. Marine biodiversity of areas beyond national jurisdiction. It became third agreement to be approved under UN clause after 1994 and 1995 treaties. So International Seabed Authority and Fish Stocks Agreement. The idea of protecting the marine environment is emerged in 2002. Right? By 2008, the need for implementing agreement was recognized, led to UNJ resolution 2015, prepared a committee to create a treaty because marine environment is an integral part of the overall environment of Earth, and it is three-fourths part of the Earth. So obviously, there is huge number of biodiversity in marine area. There is huge number of biodiversity. Okay, the committee recommended the holding of intergovernmental conferences (IGC), and after 5 prolonged IGC negotiations, the treaty was adopted in 2023. The treaty objective is to implement international regulation to protect the life in oceans beyond national jurisdiction through international cooperation. Why it has become important? Because now marine environment are witnessing various types of influx of plastic wastes and oil spills, and also the heavy the bottom trawling by fishermen and exploit and unsustainable fishing, and so marine, and there is also ocean acidification and decline of the coral reefs. So marine biodiversity is undergoing a various significant change, and there is pollution. That's why steps need to be taken, and the treaty is adopted in 2023 this year to protect marine biodiversity and in the international water beyond the jurisdiction of the sovereign states. What does the treaty entail? The treaty aims to address the critical issues such as increasing sea surface temperatures, overexploitation of marine biodiversity, overfishing, coastal pollution, unsustainable practices beyond national jurisdiction. The first step is establishing marine protected areas to protect oceans from human activities through 3/4 majority vote, which prevent the decision from getting blocked by one or two parties. So, protect ocean from human activities, right? Human activities like there is overexploitation of natural resources. Various countries are now exploiting polymetallic nodules and PMN nodules and other, and also in seabed we are also witnessing the oil reserves. That's why the marine biodiversity is also affected. Next question. On the fair sharing of benefits of marine genetic resources, there mandate sharing of scientific information and monetary benefits through installing clear house mechanism. Clear house mechanism. Through the mechanism, information on marine protected areas, marine genetic resources, area based on management tools to be open across all parties. This is to bring transparency and boost cooperation. The last pillar of treaty is capacity building and marine technology. Capacity building and marine technology. The scientific and technical body will also play a significant role in environmental impact assessment. The body will be creating standards and guidelines for assessment procedures and helping countries with less capacity in carrying out assessments. This will facilitate the conference of parties to trace future impacts, identify data gaps, bring out research priorities. Why did it take so long to sign? The marine genetic resources issue was the treaty's most contended element. The parties to the treaty must share and exchange information on marine protected areas and technical scientific areas and area-based management tools to ensure open access of knowledge. Right? Why did it take so long to sign? Right? It is a contingent element. The parties must share and exchange information on marine protected areas, right, and technical, scientific, and management-based tools. So it's a long procedure, and many of the stakeholders, the negotiation of the subjects were prolonged due to the absence of a provision to monitor information sharing. In IGC2, the small island states supported the idea of having licensing scheme for monitoring. Each sovereign state, they should monitor the exclusive economic zones or special economic zones, exclusive economic zones and territorial waters. Next. Another debate was over definition. The use of the phrases promote or ensure in different parts of the treaty, especially with respect of sharing benefits from marine genetic resources, was heavily debated over. Okay. What are the high seas? According to 1958 Geneva Convention, high seas are part of the seas that are not included in the territorial waters and international water of country. Right? This is the definition of high seas that are not included in the territorial water or international waters. Simply put, it is the area beyond the country's exclusive economic zone, extends up to 208 nautical miles, that is 370 kilometers. 200 nautical miles, that is 370 kilometers. From the coastline until where a nation has jurisdiction over living and non-living resources. No country is responsible for the management and protection of the resources of the high seas at present. Right. That's why licensing based things are to be included. Yes. Okay. हाँ कल जी आज संध्या बेले कहते मोर बोर्ड चेंज कर ठीक है. The high seas account for more than 60% of world's ocean area and cover about half of the Earth's surface, which makes up hub of marine life. So it's a good hub of marine life. They are home to around 2.7 lakh known species, many of which are yet to be discovered. The high seas are fundamental to human survival and well-being. High seas regulate the climate by playing fundamental role in planetary stability, by mitigating the effects of climate change, absorption of carbon by storing solar radiation and distributing heat to the globe. And so because they constitute more than 60% of world ocean, half of the Earth's surface, and they are undisturbed areas, especially by the nation states. So they are very crucial for the climate of the world. They are fundamental to human survival and well-being. The challenge of antimicrobial resistance and how to confront it effectively. Antimicrobial resistance is today's reckoned with the most ominous threats confronting global public health. AMR implies the pathogen insensitive. The pathogen sensitive to a certain drug ceases to respond to that drug. In particular sense, yes, AMR implies that a pathogen sensitive to a certain drug ceases to respond to that particular drug. That is called as antimicrobial resistance. The AMR is a global issue not confined by the political boundaries and a threat to all the humanity. Animals and plants are also afflicted by the diseases caused by pathogens, hence are vulnerable to AMR. Human beings are victims of AMR due to irrational and improper use of drugs. Why AMR happens? AMR antimicrobial resistance, it happens because of various types of consume of antimicrobials and various types of medicines, that antiviral, antibacterials. When those viruses and bacteria inside the body, they kill the antimicrobial, they kill the natural immune system of a particular person, because antibiotic cannot distinguish. Suppose for example this is human body and there are some positive bacteria and some negative bacteria and some negative viruses that bacteria enter into the body, so they will fight. When we use antibiotics, what happens? they erase, they cannot distinguish the bad and good and bad bacteria, they just erase all the bacteria. And ultimately what happens, that the immune system got damaged. When second time new viruses comes, they easily can spread throughout the body, and we need higher doses of antibiotic, higher doses of antibiotic. Okay. It also occurs because most of the nutritional supplements that are presently we are using, around 60 to 70% of nutritional supplements are fake, and they are not prescribed by the doctors. Self medication is a problem. Many times most of the persons are using the various type of multivitamins and nutritional products which are, and they are self prescribed, not by any doctor. So in those situations, antibacterial resistance happens. In the last 10 years, the prevention control response of AMR has been high priority for most national governments, international organizations such as WHO, FAO and OIE, healthcare communities and civil society, etc. The WHO Global Action Plan GAP was adopted by member nation 2015. National action plans have been prepared by many countries. India's SNAP was approved in 2017. National Action Plan was approved in 2017. It is understood that NAP 2.0 is envisaged. The thrust of India's NAP included coordinated action by government and non-government sectors. A whole of the government approach: health, animal husbandry, fisheries, agriculture, dairy, pharmaceuticals, biotechnology sectors, advocacy, awareness building, involvement of the community, infection prevention control, national MR surveillance network. Why? Okay. Next, let's see why these cattle, because for higher production of milk in cattle, that this lead to higher production of milk in cattle leads to that for higher production they use various type of antibiotics. Also in case of, for example, poultry farms, right? In case of poultry farms, to get high amount production, so in case of high amount of egg for egg production, huge amount of various type of growth hormones are given to the poultry, to the chickens, and when the huge amount of growth hormone is given, so they are all susceptible to various diseases. That's why various antibiotics are also given to the poultry farms. And when we consume those eggs, or obviously because of biomagnification, various chemical toxic substances that enters the human body, and that also create AMR inside human body. In COVID-19 pandemic, highlighted priority of the health sector, the entire focus shifted to management and containment of COVID. As a consequence, most public health programs, including AMR endeavors, suffered. Timelines get extended, hence substantial effort is now needed to get back on track. Despite the International One Health Initiative, India's own vision of interministerial coordination for AMR prevention and control, the war against AMR is largely construed as a burden of the health sector. It is vital that the other stakeholders too, especially the sectors overseeing food, drinking water, environment, should shoulder equal partnership, failing which achievement of AMR objectives will be difficult, because when sanitations are not done properly, sanitation facilities are not available properly, or various hospitals they do not dispose their hospital waste in a sustainable manner, environmentally sustainable manner, then the chances of infections that increases. In an area of immense concern that is apparently unregulated access to antibiotics for animal husbandry, dairying and poultry sectors, prompt and effective action in this area is warranted. This should include not only regulated access but also no over or underuse of drugs for non-human consumption. So whenever you use overuse of drugs, the in human consumption, right, that led to antibiotic resistance, and sometimes low use, that means on improper doses of when you use improper doses. Next, how crucial is the state governments, local bodies in India's AMR agenda? AMR containment measures include hospital infection and control, regulation of pharmacists, because many times these pharmacists and health professionals they prescribe frequently. They prescribe antibiotics frequently. Adoption of standards of treatment protocols, AMR surveillance are largely implemented by the state governments. Hence, our efforts cannot be successful without the active and enthusiastic involvement of states. The realization must quickly resonate across the country. Why urgent action is needed? How to go about it? AMR puts a huge economic burden on both individual and families and society as a whole, because around 5 crore people are dying every year because of antimicrobial resistance indirectly, and because of around 2 crore of people are dying every year directly, and the number is increasing day by day. India is a hub of antibiotic consumptions, especially during the COVID-19 period. Huge amount of antibiotics are consumed by the people. Long periods of morbidity due to non-responsive medicines, increased mortality due to AMR, and massive loss of productive man days of work, wasteful expenditure on medicines which do not work, maintaining large ill populations, etc., put enormous burden on the national resources. This can be prevented by effectively neutralizing the threat of AMR. Hence, investments in the AMR program is not only health necessity but also a good economics. So, to save the economic resources of the country, to save the people for getting into various diseases, it is also economic priority of the government, because it amount huge amount of economic loss. India has achieved huge success in application of digital technology. Leveraging such applications, especially conceived for the AMR program, you will yield good dividends. This can also value to go India's good contribution in the G20 collaboration. Application can be for monitoring of the use of antibiotics, prescription audits, movement of antibiotics from the production source to the ultimate user, for the surveillance of incidence and prevalence of AMR, including state-wise and interspecial variations. Parallel efforts on a war footing are needed for the discovery and commercialization of new antibiotics and new antimicrobials. We must leverage the social media platforms to spread messages of AMR. Our objectives should be to inculcate community realization for rational and correct use of antimicrobials. Bereft of community participation, public health programs may not succeed. Okay, so we have to so the joint effort of various civil society, the joint effort of various health professionals, the pharmaceutical shops, and individual to create awareness and antimicrobial resistance, and individuals should not consume antibiotics improperly and by self medication unless it is necessary. First, overseas IIT campus. India signed a memorandum of understanding with Tanzania for setting of campus of IIT Madras in Zanzibar. The academic programs, the curriculum, student is so first overseas IIT campus. It is signed in Tanzania for establishment in Tanzania, right? Campus of IIT Madras in Zanzibar. The academic programs, curriculum, student section aspects, pedagogical details will be set by IIT Madras, where a capital of operating expenditure will be made by government of Zanzibar and Tanzania. Right, Zanzibar, Tanzania, they will make the expenditure. Rest of the academic programs will be conducted by the IIT Madras. IIT Madras degrees will be awarded to the students enrolled in the campus. The first overseas IIT campus to more global campuses of IIT Delhi and IIT Kharagpur are also set to come in Abu Dhabi and Kuala Lumpur. So these universities are these IITs are going to have campuses and in Abu Dhabi and Kuala Lumpur. The initiative is to strengthen South-South cooperation as well as for stronger people-to-people ties with Africa. The move is also in line with the National Education Policy 2020, which recommends high performing Indian universities will be encouraged to set up campuses in other countries. The setting of IIT campus is a step toward internationalizing Indian education and expanding India's diplomatic relationship because it is one type of soft power as well. Recently Secretary of Department of Administrative Reforms and Public Grievances launched the third edition of the National E-Governance Service Delivery Assessment portal. About NESDA portal. NESDA framework launched in August 2018 was conceptualized with an overall objective to measure in depth and effectiveness of existing e-governance service delivery mechanisms. The department was successfully released two editions of NESDS study and NES 2019-21. So yes, it is the about launched third edition of National E-Governance Service Delivery Assessment. E-Governance Service Delivery Assessment. The framework is based on online service index and of even e-government survey. Online service index means how much and how much services you are providing online and how much services it is provided by, how efficiently it is provided. The framework covers 6 sectors: finance, labor, employment, education, local government, utilities, social welfare, environment, including fire sector. Improvement in the country's e-governance landscape due to last two editions of any SDS study may be summarized in the following key takeaways. Increase in e-service delivery, rise in use of integrated centralized portals for delivery of e-services, improvement across assessment parameter scores. NESDA helps respective governments to improve their delivery of citizen-centric services, shares best practices across the country of all states, UTs and central ministries to eliminate. So third is Venus volcano. What is this Venus volcano? Peru recently announced a state of emergency for Venus volcano. State of emergency in Peru. It has emergency. Venus stratovolcano located in central volcanic zone of Andes and one of the most active regions of Peru. More than 26 eruptive episodes are recorded in last 500 years. The Venus volcano is a part of group of 7 volcanoes of southern Peru located in volcanic zone, southern Peru to northern Chile. So this is volcanic zone and 26 eruptive episodes has seen in 500 years. The affected area is situated within Ring of Fire, a region encompassing the edges of the Pacific Ocean that is renowned for volcanic activity and seismic events such as earthquakes. A Ring of Fire region of our Pacific Islands where frequent earthquake occurs and also there is frequent volcanic eruptions. The upper portion of the volcano is made from lava and flows from the Pleistocene. The depression caldera at the summit contains cone of volcanic ash supporting vent shaped like a tunnel. What is stratovolcano? Stratovolcano is a tall, steep and cone-shaped type of volcano. Unlike flat shield volcanoes like Hawaii, they have higher peaks. At the peak, stratovolcano usually have a small crater. Stratovolcano, they have small crater. They are tall, steep and cone-shaped type of volcano. When ash falls on lava flows, it solidifies and makes narrower cone. Stratovolcanoes comprise largest percentage of Earth's individual volcanoes. Stratovolcanoes are usually half lava and pyroclastic material, and layering of these products give them their common name of composite volcanoes. Then what is open kaolin? Open kaolin. It is fast open source desktop operating system named as Open Kaolin. China's fast open source desktop operating system. It's Linux based operating system built by a community about 4,000 developers. Open Kaolin users have access to software lines of code and can modify them as they wish. So what is this open source operating system? Open source operating system which source code is visible publicly and edible. Generally, operating systems like Microsoft Windows, Apple iOS, Mac OS, and closed OS. Closed operating systems are built with numerous cores and complex programming. That is called as source code. Source code is kept secret by respective companies and inaccessible to third parties. In case of open source operating system, everyone can access and edit the source code. Okay, so it is better regarding the safeguard of data and user friendly. So the lectures end here, and like and share this video and subscribe to VANIK-IAS. Thank you.